Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Alpha Dean, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. So today we have got the new Fusion landed inside the game, so I will be giving my opinion on him and whether or not I think that he's going to be valuable for you guys. But before I do that, let me just say Clan vs Clan has finished, so if this is something that you was trying to push for, hope that you've actually managed to pull in the victory. It's not worse than you throwing in a load of resources and coming up short, especially if you're free to play. So in regards to us, we did manage to pull in the victory, so strong performance by our team here, and I'll just show you where I'm at in regards to it. So did I manage to pick up the 400k points? Of course I did. Yeah, so I did get the points, and I do like to go just a little bit over that 400k points, just because previously I have been knocked down into the tier 5, even though I did get 400k points. So yeah, that is something that I do like to do now, just go not over by a long shot, but I do like to go a little bit above that 400k mark. So onto this fusion then. So his fusion is for Masahiro, and this is the Bell Monk. Okay, so let's have a look at his kit first then, shall we? On his A1, we've got Ring of Dissonance, so he attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased crit rate debuff for 1 turn. Damage is based on HP. So he is HP based, he is going to be quite tanky, but he's not going to be a damage dealer. That'll become apparent as we're going to go through his kit. So let's get straight back to this debuff. The debuff itself, I'd say, is a bit of a nothing burger, and the reason that I say that is because it's just not going to be that effective in PvE. So PvE content, they've already got any crit rate anyway, so this is going to make next to no difference at all. The only thing really that it's going to impact is champions such as Phoenix if there's no other debuff out there. So as soon as there's a debuff on a champion, Phoenix, if there is a debuff, he'll do a double hit with his A1. While that, I just don't see it being useful. So areas where it will come in handy is going to be Chimera. I believe that there's a trial for it in Chimera. So if you've not already got that, then you know it could be alright there. And then PvP. So if you land this in PvP, it can be quite impactful. So they're the areas really where this is going to come in handy. I don't think that it's going to be much use outside of that. However, this is an AoE attack, so not too bad, I'd say, for the likes that you can put on crowd control sets. So you can put on sets such as your stun, such as your provoke, your hex, stuff like that. So provoke, hex, they're going to be useful in your Hydra teams, and then you've got things such as your stun. You could even throw them in a toxic set and stuff like that, so they'll help then for your faction wars. So yeah, not too bad of an A1 for general use, I'd say. Moving on to his A2 then, we've got Redemptive Fervor. Attacks one enemy. Before attacking, has a 75% chance of transferring all debuffs from all allies to the target. That does buck up to a 100% chance, and it goes to a free turn. And then he heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP, and places a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is pretty strong. So he's got a heal. It's going to be a big heal as well, because it's 25% of his HP, and he is HP based. And then not only that, he's putting on the strengthen, and then while he's doing that, he's removing all the debuffs from the entire team and placing it onto the target. So if you're thinking of, well, it can come in useful actually in a couple of areas, but I'd say that the strongest area for this is going to be Doom Tower on your Nether Spider. So if you're struggling on your Nether Spider, think of how many poisons that they actually throw up on you. So you and your squad, they throw up all them poisons on you. You use this ability, you're going to fill that bar. So all 10 debuffs are going to be on that spider straight away. This is going to be huge for that. It's also going to be good for areas such as your dragon. So just for the same thing, he's going to put them poisons on you. You're going to throw them back onto the dragon. In areas such as your Chimera, on Viper form, it's going to do the same thing. Poisons, poison sensitivity, wipe them off. Get them back to Viper. Have some of that. And then he's going to heal your champions as well, and then strengthen them. Really, really strong ability, I'd say there. Moving on then to his A3, we've got Humble Saviour. Attacks all enemies. before attacking, revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. This skill can be used even if there's no dead allies. This is huge. Why is this so good then? Well, let's have a look what we've actually got in regards to this Shadowkin, shall we? So if we go to Shadowkins, who have we actually got that's a reviver in here? So we've got Yukimasa, but Yukimasa is not really a traditional revive, so it's got this skill here where you revive one random ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter if it didn't kill somebody. It revives them all if it does kill somebody, right? But this guy's really squishy. I am using him at the minute and he is a good champion, but he is a squishy champion. Odds are he's going to be one of your first ones down, so the fact that he's got a revive on there, it is nice, but it's not ideal. So we've got him, and who else have we got in here? The only other one is an epic, and it's King Agashi. So she has got this skill here, where she revives an ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. That's it. One revive. So she just revives one in your team, and she's an epic. So again, not ideal. If you're wanting to push into your likes of your faction wars, he's going to be essential, especially for hard. So you will be able to do it, you know, on normal without him, but he's just going to make it so much easier. And yeah, if you are wanting to push in hard, which you should be doing, you are getting good resources from there. There's no other revivers for here. So for me, this guy's worth picking up for this skill alone. So that's not it anyway. We have got a little bit more on here. So he's got a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn and a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. So this does place up to 100% by the way, and it is on a 4-turn cooldown. So not great the fact that it's on a 4-turn. However, if you look at your other champions, such as your Duchess, she's on a 4-turn as well. So she's a team-wide one, and yeah, so he's on par with that, I'd say. And then he's got a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff and a block buffs debuff for 2 turns instead if the target is a boss. So obviously you can't stun bosses, so in that case it switches to a decreased speed, which is pretty good, I'd say. I think this guy's pretty solid. So this skill then, this skill's going to come in useful practically everywhere. The fact that he's going to attack your enemies as well as do the revive, I think is a massive bonus. So yeah, it's a AoE again, so all your crowd control stuff you could put on him, and it's going to do the same thing in regards to his A1. Plus you're going to get your revive off of it, and you may actually stun them in the process. So you're doing your revive and then you're stunning them so that they can't take their next move, and you're putting a block buffs up there. Onto his passive then, we've got For My Sins. So all allies receive 1% less damage for each turn taken by enemies and allies while they remain alive, and that stacks up to 15%. Each champion's damage reduction resets when they die or between rounds, and then your normal stuff is there's multiple champions, won't activate, blah blah blah. And then we've also got this section: allies revived by this champion are immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear and petrification debuffs until the start of their turn. So this is really good for the sake of PvP, and the one that comes to mind is obviously Fabian. So as soon as you revive with a different champion, Fabian comes in and smashes those true fears on. It is such an annoying ability, and we love him for it, but not so much when he's on the opposite team. But this guy's going to prevent that from happening, so pretty good utility here in regards to that. 1%. And then moving on from there, we've got his aura. I'm not a big fan of this aura. I mean, this is more for late game people, I'd say. So you're not going to find much use for this early game, but it is going to be more beneficial the more that your account progresses. So it increases force allies speed in all battles by 25%. I think this guy is well worth going for. I'm definitely going for him. I mean, I tend to go for the fusions anyway, but my typical rule of thumb is if it's a revive, get it. You know, revives, they're not that often in the game. I mean, I say that, but we have just had like 2 that have been revivers, both in the Dark Elves. So, yeah, normally it's not a frequent thing in the game. But yeah, he seems like a solid champion. He is going to help my account, and I think that he's going to help the majority of people's account, especially in Faction Wars. He's definitely going to help. So that's my take on the guy. Should you be going for him? I think if you've got the resources to get him, you should be, yeah. So he's going to be used in majority of areas. If you've not got a revive, he's definitely well worth picking up. And the fact that he's a fragment, which is the easiest of these fusions, yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. Definitely going for him. Let me know what your opinions are on the guy, whether or not you're going for him, and if you are going for him, where do you think that he's going to be most useful? So that is going to be it for me then, guys. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next one.